Welcome to the Sunday Game Live and welcome to the Gaelic grounds in Limerick for this year's Munster Hurling Final. It's 1996 since Limerick last claimed this trophy. Well, it's 7 years since Cork were last crowned Kings of Munster. Down through the years, of course, there have been some fantastic Munster finals between the two. But the question is today, who will reign supreme?
Trying to get it in, and he does, yes! Mulcahy, without the stick, has to kick, he's kicked it in!
Cork have come to the Gaelic grounds with a new young team, a wonderful team performance.
Limerick had so much quality, so much resolve, so much determination, and Limerick have beaten Tipperary and they have won their way through to the Munster final for 2013.
Yes, everybody's in a good humour. We're going to have new Munster champions today. There was just a special atmosphere around Limerick today.
I was here at 12:30, Michael, and you could even sense the atmosphere. And talking to people eating sandwiches out of the booths and all that, they said this is going to be a great game. This is like Munster finals of old, you know. Yeah. And the first time I was ever at a Munster final was actually here in Limerick. I was 15 years of age, Cork and Tip, and I was sitting over there, or standing over, quashed over there, just behind Liam's shoulder there. You know, you can remember even the places where you were standing. Yeah. And it was so packed and it was so hot. They were selling ice cream, they ran out of ice cream, and they sold water. And the big story afterwards was, imagine buying water at a match. So that'll tell you that, you know, I know that tells my age as well, but it'll just tell you
somebody missed out on a big business opportunity that day.
Bellingham and all those came after that, but that's the way it was in those times. Yeah. But what I find is, like, you forget so many games you played in and that you were manager in, but every Munster final you were in has left an indelible mark on, in your psyche, because now, unfortunately for me, most of them are very bad marks, but at least when I was a manager we had some great days as well. And the day you win a Munster final, you know, Shawnee Mc, all the Clare lads will tell you, the highlight of their career was the first time they won the Munster final. Now that tells you, it's about the atmosphere, it's where it's located. It's nothing to do with standard funny enough. You know, a lot of people think you're putting down Leinster by saying Munster is better. It's just that Munster has that special atmosphere. It's situated in Hurling country, first of all. You know, the games take place there, and it brings a kind of an atmosphere that you don't find in any of the bigger games even later on.
Well, there's no doubt about that, Liam. As a Connacht man myself and Cyril Farrell here, you know, we understand exactly what Ger is saying about that special atmosphere. And whether as a player or as a manager, and in actual fact, you know, most people talk about Thurles being the home of hurling, which it is, and that's always great. But here in Limerick today, it won't be much short of that.
I know, it's fantastic. I mean, you'll have 44,000 people here, you know, and you'll all be shouting on the respective counties. And, you know, it really is a great atmosphere. I mean, we were lucky enough to win here. I was manager when we won in here in 2008.
That's right.
And even to see the field afterwards, I mean, the whole place is awash with people. And like, it is a special venue here as well in the Gaelic grounds. And like the fact that the two teams, I mean, Limerick haven't won it since '96, Cork haven't won it since 2006. So, like, in a lot of ways, it's a long time for these two proud hurling counties not to have Munster's silverware in their cabinet. So I think both of them are coming here with massive expectations. Obviously, there's going to be one winner, and whichever one it is, I think they'll have to really earn it over the next 70 minutes.
And of course, Cyril Farrell, even as a Galway man, needless to say, you're not too far up the road in actual fact from Limerick.
I know, and I would have been at most of the Munster finals, because
exactly,
like,
yes.
as Ger says there, it's unique really, whether it's Thurles or Limerick or even Páirc Uí Chaoimh, which I never like going to because kind of there's only one road into it, great atmosphere too, but like it's just the whole
thing. For a lot of counties there's only one road out of it as well.
The whole place comes alive, you know. And I was going up this morning early enough, I stopped in a small village this morning in Bradford, actually went to Mass there, all the boys in the back, it was all about the Munster final really, like, you know, I was saying let's keep quiet, the police will run us out of the place, but like it's just different, and it's all around town all day. And Michael, the championship this year has been different. Like Kilkenny kind of going back to the pack early on, Tip getting beaten, Limerick winning, Cork coming with a young team, Kilkenny coming again, and Dublin, I suppose, are the new team on the block. Yeah. They have been the team of the season so far. So the whole thing has been rejuvenated, and you're getting crowds everywhere. But hurling is kind of, it's the in, it's the vogue thing, it's the in thing again, and like it's a great breath of fresh air, life to the hurling championship.
And this, Liam, is very important to the whole thing today. As I mentioned a little bit earlier on there, the fact that there will be new champions today, and that's adding a buzz to the whole thing as well.
Yeah, it is, and like
A little cooler when the sun comes out, still very, very hot, but there's a bit of a breeze that's picking up coming down the field here towards the city end, so I think perfect conditions for hurling, really.
And the pitch itself, we saw a man on a mowing machine there about 12 o'clock giving it a last little touch. It looks superb.
It's in fantastic condition, and we saw a great minor final beforehand. The atmosphere for that match, with Limerick scoring a late goal to draw it, and I think that lifted the whole crowd. But a brilliant atmosphere here since early today. It's a brilliant occasion so far.
Right, let's turn to Limerick v Cork now at 4 o'clock here. Where do you see the main battleground?
We'll normally be talking about around the half back lines on both teams, but I think today the key battle is the Limerick full back line. Stephen Walsh, Richie McCarthy and Tom Condon, real hurling full back line against that full forward line of Cork that looks so dangerous. Luke O'Farrell, Pat Horgan and Conor Lahan in there, whether he plays in there the whole time. But I think you'll see Limerick trying to cut out the space out the field around their half back line midfield, and Cork trying to create space for that full forward line, which is lethal if they get enough possession. So I'm looking forward to that more than anything. And like Tom Condon, Richie McCarthy, the way they attack the ball and come out of it against those very skillful inside forwards, and I think it'll be decided there. And I have a slight feeling that Limerick are going to do it, but it is very much a 50-50 game. But I think
Game, both Corkmen of course, but today John Allen is the Limerick manager, Jimmy Barry Murphy the man in charge in Cork. They've been talking to Marty Morrissey.
It's all about preparation, and we've prepared well. Everybody's available. We've no injuries, and great occasion, lovely day, full house. Sure, we're privileged to be here.
We've spoken in the past about home advantage, but considering the atmosphere in this wonderful Coliseum, is it an advantage, or is there extra pressure on you as the home manager?
I don't think so. It probably is an advantage in that we train here, but looking at the crowd there, there's a big Cork support in. The crowd roared us home the last day. It's probably a marginal advantage, but it's all about how the team perform on the day, really.
Facing Cork on a personal level?
Yeah, not ideal obviously, but I'm here and Jimmy's down the other dressing room, and made a better team win.
It's a great occasion, as you said, sell-out crowd, and preparations have gone well, apart from losing Brian Murphy in a club game, who was a big loss. But these things happen, and we just got to get on with it, and I really can't wait for it. It's a great occasion, as I said, and great to be a part of it.
You've been unlucky with injuries, but Brian Murphy, when you're preparing for a Munster final, a man of his experience, it is a big blow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very disappointing for Brian himself, and he's been a fantastic player for Cork over the last 10 years, and great team man, and gives everything for the team. So, but as I said already, that's what a panel is for. We lost 2 players before the last game, and the lads who came in did very, very well. So look, that's what sport's all about. You lose players and you get players back, and thankfully panel are on our back today, so that's a big boost to us as well.
What about any last-minute changes, Jimmy?
No, playing as selected, and lining out as the 15 that were picked.
Well, at least
For Limerick's first Munster final appearance in 6 years, manager John Allen goes with the same team which started against Tipperary last month. Seamus Hickey and Donal O'Grady are still involved, while Niall Moran is among the subs. Hickey, however, now plays among the forwards, where the main danger is Declan Hannon, playing in his 10th championship match. Cork were last involved at this stage in 2010 when they lost to Waterford. Park Cronin, a sub in the drawn final that year, returns to wing forward this afternoon, replacing the injured Brian Murphy. It's a 50th championship appearance for half-back Tom Kenny, today seeking a 4th winner's medal, who plays alongside Christopher Joyce, for whom this is just his 3rd ever championship match. Final as well between Kilkenny and Galway. It is Limerick who won the toss, and they've opted. They're playing from right to left in the first half, and here they come. As in the match against Tipperary, it was Donal O'Grady trying to get first possession there and trying to break away, but instead going deep, Seamus Hickey here. Playing it back. Paddy O'Brien having a go, and that's a brilliant start for Limerick. Paddy O'Brien, the LIT student, the wing back, getting primary possession inside the opening 20 seconds of this match and putting Limerick in front.
Yeah, and Seamus Hickey doing what he does. I think he's bringing to this forward line onto a ball very quickly and laid it off. I see Christopher Joyce gone from centre back to midfield in a switch with Lorcan McLaughlin, who's gone back to centre back straight away.
Well, there were indications there would be switches, but right now Cork are switching into the attack, and that attack has produced a score for the midfielder. And it's Daniel Carney getting his first point of this game, tying up the score. Haven't even a minute played yet. Carney getting onto it here inside the 45-metre line, doing really well. Seamus Harnady's got into full forward in another one of those switches. We were told there might be 5 or 6 positional switches made by Cork. Nothing new. James Ryan trying to get possession and succeeding here for Limerick, the man on the 40. Smart ball forward here as far as Graham Mulcahy, taking off. Well hooked there by Tom Kenny. Kenny standing his ground, but Limerick have a chance of winning it back again. And Hannon, who started deep, takes off past that first shoulder of Conor O'Sullivan and drives it over the bar. 2 attacks by Limerick, 2 scores. That's a very impressive start.
Yeah, Gerard, that's a great score, but I think if you look at that again, Declan Hannon does brilliantly here, breaks through, but possibly could have kept going. The whole thing was opening up in front of him there, but a very good score early again. And here's Graham Mulcahy and Tom Kenny using his experience. They're coming back. Mulcahy a little bit ponderous there.
That clearance out of defence is by Conor O'Sullivan. Once again, it's the Limerick defence, and it's Wayne McNamara, solid as ever. Out here as far as Seamus Hickey, nobody on him. A lot of movement by the Limerick players so far, and Cork have stayed in positions, and this time the referee has spotted a foul inside, and it's going to be a free in and around the 20-metre line, and a chance of another point for Limerick, and an even more impressive start for them. James McGrath there had spotted something.
Tom Kenny will have to be a lot tighter on him because Hickey is a very good player.
Hannon could get a second point for himself and a third for his team, and it really is a good start. So 3 points to 1, not even 3 minutes played, and Limerick are in front here. Well, this was the foul here. It was just there in front of the post, just outside the 20-metre line, and the referee had spotted it. I think it may have been Stephen MacDonald.
Yeah, very good refereeing there by James McGrath.
MacDonald from the short puck out by Nash. Cork yet to settle, really. Oh, that went straight past Shawnee Tobin, and Cork are able to benefit. It was Stephen Walsh going across here, now helped out by Richie McCarthy. McCarthy there on his own end line. Oh, was he trying to link up with his goalkeeper? With Luke O'Farrell there, almost intervening.
A couple of times passing back, but there was maybe 20 yards between him and the goalie. There was no danger, but that was a dangerous pass back there. I think that's the way Richie McCarthy plays. You know, he's off the cuff, and you don't know what he's going to do next.
Well, he got away with it. It was risky. Nicky Quaid's puck out, it's a huge one. The man he usually targets is David Breen over there, and Breen has got it. Big, tall, strong man, chance of a goal here, and that one has gone wide. He had options, he had 2 men inside. They got nothing out of it.
Well, that's it exactly, Joe. What a catch, first of all, and he's very good in the air, but once he went through with it, either tap it over the bar now or keep going and go for the goal, and he went away from the goals, hit it wide, and wrong option there by David Breen.
Well, you just got the feeling Cork haven't really started in this match. They're lucky to be just 2 points behind. Puck out again. Look again where Seamus Hickey had gone, but he didn't get that one. It was collected by Cian McCarthy. McCarthy in again quickly after this. Hickey likewise rolled up and then lost by Luke O'Farrell. Still they try to get it away. Once again McCarthy, one-handed across here as far as Tom Kenny. Kenny trying to slip away from Gavin O'Mahony. Collected, however, in the end by Stephen Walsh, about to be hooked. It was Seamus Harnedy who was in there starting, even though he's number 10 on his back. He's at full forward. Here he is. Harnedy, who was outstanding in the semi-final, still being given enough time and latitude to have a go, and he's missed the opportunity. All of that hard work, which he did himself virtually, failed to produce anything.
Yeah, but you see Seamus Harnedy coming in, but Stephen Walsh was way too slow to clear the ball there. And just the space that Limerick are creating inside here, there's huge space with Seamus Hickey coming off out the field, and James Ryan just leave maybe 1 or 2 inside the 50-metre line.
Connolly Ham, by the way, is out at right half forward. Meanwhile, mention of half forwards, here's Seamus Hickey. Tripped back onto his feet. Not sure if the referee gave an advantage. Wasn't any advantage. And in the end, they've lost possession, Limerick, and it's a free out to Cork. He is spelling a lot of danger so far, isn't he?
He is, Jerry. Great catch, but I think the inside forward, I would like to see him delivering the ball. You know, he's only running into trouble there, and he eventually was penalised. Great catch by him. All he did was turn there and move that ball in fast into the full forward line.
First chance for Anthony Nash, the goalkeeper, to come out and have a go of a free. And he scored twice, you might remember, in the semi-final against Clare. Goalkeeper with 1 goal and 6 points to his credit so far in Championship Hurling. Today playing just his 8th match. Light breeze behind him, sailing high. Now has he got the accuracy? Not quite. So another wide for Cork, who trail by 3 points to 1. And now they'll be beginning to try and settle down to the task here after that blitz start made by Limerick. Nicky Quaid ready to pluck it out. Again, David Breen trying to come and collect, but this time it's Carney who got his body in front of it. Couldn't collect it, however, and it's James Ryan who takes off from midfield. Off his left-hand side, accurately over the bar. James Ryan with his first.
Yeah, that's a fantastic score, Ger. Once that ball broke, James Ryan was onto it like a flash and showed great strength, and one quick look up and over the bar. Super score. And Cork struggling to get into it. Conor Lehane is out at right half forward and Seamus Harnedy at full forward, and really struggling to win possession. Limerick are all over them at the moment.
Cork were trying to take a short puck out there, but it didn't come to anything. They go long instead down towards Patrick Cronin, runs on instead towards Luke O'Farrell, runs into 3 Limerick defenders. One of them takes it away, one of them being Wayne McNamara, slipping the hand pass out as far as his captain, Donald O'Grady. Cut out here at the pass by Conor O'Sullivan. Needs a second go, needs support as well. Comes back here as far as Stephen McDonnell. Taken down here by the midfielder, Daniel Carney. Outside it comes Christopher Joyce, only his second season playing in the championship. Across there towards Harnedy, does well to collect it. McCarthy's after him, hand pass back there towards Pat Horgan, and Pat Horgan from the shot puts it over the bar, his first of the afternoon, and they eat into the lead, and now it's 4 points to 2, and that's a little bit more like it by Cork. Enterprising play, opening out to the fence, and Harnedy, one of those involved, slipping the pass to Horgan.
Yeah, Cork worked that one out well, Jaron. With Limerick pulling out so far out the field, they're going to have to use that extra man, lay off the ball, and a great crossfield ball there by Christopher Joyce. Good score by Pat Horgan.
It's Tom Kenny there, letting that one sailing over his head. He hasn't really settled down to this match just yet against Seamus Hickey. But coming out of defence here is Lorcan McLaughlin. Now Kenny once again across the field this time. But it's the other number 5 who might get to it, Paddy O'Brien, who got the opening point of the match after about 20 seconds. Back to the corner here to Stephen Walsh. Big one in towards a 2-man inside forward line. Essentially the 2 corner forwards are playing in there, and as expected Declan Hannon has drifted out towards the half forward line, leaving space inside. Pa Cronin from out near the sideline. First of all, they keep it in play, Cork, but not able to get it under control completely there. Conor Lehane and his man, who's Tom Condon, digging in there, helped out by Gavin O'Mahony. O'Mahony almost out of the sideline and passing it forward here into space towards Hickey. There were 2 on him. Hickey against Tom Kenny. Kenny gets to it, slips the little hand pass outside to Lehane again, trying to make a shot for himself 50 metres out from the target. That's always going to the right of the post, however, and that was very much offline. He was picked to play left corner forward, but nobody quite expected that. He's right now somewhere about right half forward. Pat Horgan is somewhere between the full forward and the 40, and Cian McCarthy there as well. Jimmy Barry Murphy making some changes and switches.
Yeah, and Shane O'Neill has switched on to Declan Hannon, as we expected as well, to follow him out the field, more comfortable in a run and roll like that. And just have to say, so far the tackling of the Limerick defenders has been ferocious, but they're trying to crowd all that area around the half forward and midfield, and they're leaving 2 men inside. But
the corner forward, who is Graham Mulcahy. Nicky Quaid to puck it out. Again going to the right half forward position, usual route. David Breen breaks it down, onto it quickly comes James Ryan, and if Breen doesn't get it, Ryan is never too far away to pick up the pieces. It came back there towards Paul Brown, well blocked down. Lorcan McLaughlin for Cork, the hand pass in there. Finally away by Pa Cronin. Big huge one down there towards Seamus Harnedy, couldn't get to it. Out instead comes Richie McCarthy, and McCarthy into a man who's in midfield here, and a chance for Wayne McNamara to launch it. Big long one down towards the corner forward. Tobin's in after it, knocked it down. Out comes the goalkeeper, Anthony Nash. Has a support player, it's Tom Kenny. Beats the attempted block, gets it as far as Christopher Joyce, operating in midfield. After him goes Donald O'Grady, but it's still Joyce. About to be hooked, but he did well to get it in as far as Harnedy, contains it very well, controls, pivots around and puts it over the bar. He'll be thrilled with that. Man who got 3 points from play in the semi-final against Clare gets 1 here, and it gets narrow. It's now Limerick 4, Cork 3.
Yeah, that's a great score, Joe. Christopher Joyce carried the ball, and a great ball in, but that came about from Wayne McNamara. He just hit a ball from his own half-back line aimlessly straight down the middle of the field with his corner forwards running off the ball, but Cork worked it very, very well up the field and punished them for that.
It was 4-1, right now 4-3. Back again comes Daniel Carney for Cork, trying his luck. And I think the inside forwards would have appreciated perhaps a better pass. That's 5 wides already by Cork.
Well, yeah, and Jimmy Barry very annoyed on the sideline there, Joe, because, ridiculous ball, really no chance of putting that ball over the bar, and, he should have played it in the full forward and looked sharp and they're getting the ball.
Nicky Quaid, 3rd year playing in goal for Limerick, ready with this puck out. This time down through the centre towards James Ryan. Breaks it. There's a player anticipating. It's Donald O'Grady. Head first, lost his way, lost possession, and the clearance out of defence is by Joyce. Big one down to Harnedy again. Can't get to it this time. 2 Limerick men are on him. Tom Condon is one of them. Condon's clearance to a totally unmarked Paul Brown. Who should be marking him? Paul Brown gets it away. There was a Hurley thrown. Didn't affect Paul Brown. That was a good hook there on Lorcan McLaughlin, and it's Declan Hannon who was ready to take off. Referee blows his whistle. It's got to be a free in, and Declan Hannon, who's got 2 points on. So this is opportunity to get a third. That one he's missed. A virtually perfect day for hurling. It is very warm, and there's a light breeze into his face, which is bringing down the temperature for the players, which they'll welcome, I think, just a little bit. Cork goes short again with the puck out. Conor O'Sullivan time and again is waiting for it. This one he gets, and this one he goes long with. Down to Cronin, and the team captain, Patrick Cronin, is fouled, and it's going to be a... Pat Horgan has got 1 point already, goes for a second one and puts it over the bar. Well, he got 8 points against Clare. 5 of those came from frees. He's deadly from any range there, around about 40-50 metres out. So 4 points apiece, teams level.
Yeah, and Cork seem to be up to the pace of the game now, Jared. They were a bit slow to start, but you know, they've scored the last 3 points and a bit of a mini comeback already early in the game, but they're winning lots of possession now again.
This time Paul Brown picks up the pieces, drives it in there towards Graham Mulcahy, being marked by O'Sullivan, and anticipating his Lorcan McLaughlin. Good tracking back by the number 8, giving a helping hand, and then way down. Almost came for Cian McCarthy. Tom Condon comes out, helped on over there, and eventually it's Horgan, and Horgan, it starts out right and it moves inside the post, and it's over the bar. 3 for Horgan. And Cork lead by 5 points to 4, and they take the lead for the first time.
Yeah, Jaron, that's 3 points from play now from the full forward line. Pat Horgan has 2, Seamus Harnedy has 1, and they're causing an awful lot of trouble in there for the Limerick full back line.
Meanwhile, at the other end, it is Stephen MacDonald, who had his problems in the last match, but settling down here now, trying to get that ball away, out of danger. Helped out here by William Egan. Egan inside here towards Cian McCarthy, left it behind there to Wayne McNamara. Onto it quickly comes Seamus Hickey, and Limerick come back again, looking for another score of their own. Helped in here by the corner forward, fed forward by Wayne Mulcahy, but not to a colleague. And Cork can counter again, and it's all the way down once more towards Seamus Harnedy from St. Eata's, near Youghal in East Cork. Back over here as far as Park Cronin. Cronin hitting it in long towards Luke O'Farrell. O'Farrell knocks it down, but there are a couple of Limerick players there waiting for it. Richie McCarthy is one of them, about to be challenged by Horgan. Back onto his feet again, and Richie McCarthy, who hand passed one injudiciously earlier on, this time decides to belt it out, but I don't think he intended to belt it out of play. Line ball to Cork, taken quickly by Tom Kenny, and the referee says, hang on a while. And he's going to have a word and a look here, I think, at Park Cronin. And a word to the Cork captain, something that may have been said or done.
Yeah, I didn't see anything, Jared, but you'd have to say Cork have really upped the pace, and you can see them trying to speed it up there.
It's nearly 10 minutes now since Limerick last scored. And that's going to be a source of worry for John Allen and the mentors.
Yeah, and you saw Richie McCarthy with that last ball. Gavin O'Mahony was just outside him, a simple hand pass, and he pucked it out over the line, and they're certainly feeling the heat in that full back line.
It'll be Tom Kenny who'll take this, playing in his 7th Munster final match. Big, huge one in by Kenny, inside to Harnedy, spills around in there, Horgan's will do it! Across the face of goal and wide. A real goal chance for Cork. And Limerick in defence at 6s and 7s back there. Here it is again.
Good line ball in, and just broken down, and Pat Horgan just flicks out to him here. Very narrow angle, did well actually to get the ball back across, and it's hard, I don't know how it didn't go in, but it went straight back across the goal and wide on the far post.
It's been said about Cork, they don't score too many goals. Well, they nearly had a chance of one there. From the Limerick puck out, Lorcan McLaughlin, who's back around the half-back line at this stage, and one of the switches and changes. Picking it up here is Graham Mulcahy. He's got great pace. Still Mulcahy off his left-hand side and beautifully over the bar. Teams are level again. Level for the second time. Limerick 5, Cork 5, 17.5 minutes are gone.
Yeah, and a great battle there. Conor O'Sullivan's super cornerback, but Mulcahy has great pace. He's very brave. And, you know, I think Limerick are a little bit confused, I think, in terms of what they're trying to achieve. They need to get the ball in front of him. High ball in there is not going to work. And, you know, if he gets in front of him, he's going to cause damage.
from Anthony Nash's puck out to Tom Kenny. Shortish. It might yield something at the other end. Again, it is Harnedy, and having difficulty with the youngster up there. Seamus Harnedy never played minor or under 21 for Cork. Big Munster final day for him. Big Munster final day for Donald O'Grady as well, as he gets that ball across to his midfield partner Paul Brown. Delivers it in quickly. Dangerous when goalkeeper comes. It was in that little corridor between goalkeeper and full back line. He did well. Gets it out here as far as Daniel Carney. Carney across field towards Cian McCarthy. Two SARS men combining, and at the end of it all, it's put wide by Cian McCarthy, playing in his 11th championship match. He's only ever scored 5 points. So clearly scoring is something he needs to be working on. 5-all still.
Yeah, that was a poor wide, great ball up by Anthony Nash to Daniel Carney. Another lovely crossfield ball, and see there are 7 wides from Cork to Limerick's 2, and it just shows you Cork are really in the last 10 minutes have taken over the game.
Taking over, but still level as Nicky Quaid pucks it out. And onto it quickly there came Shane O'Neill, needing some support, getting it from Pa Cronin. And Cronin is going from a long distance. It's going to drop short. It's spilled by Nicky Quaid. Richie McCarthy was required. Seamus Harnedy was almost into profit. A lapse by the goalkeeper. He got away with it. 2 goal chances for Cork now in the space of the last 5 minutes. Still no goals in this match. Limerick back into the attack again, but they lose it there. And it comes out as far as William Egan. Helped on here as far as Daniel Carney. Through the middle to Cian McCarthy. 65 metres from the target. Inside towards Harnedy again. They wait for a little knockdown, and in the knockdown comes to Luke O'Farrell. And O'Farrell strikes and puts it over the bar. So another one over the bar by Luke O'Farrell. And it's now 6 points to 5.
Yeah, good refereeing there, Luke O'Farrell. And you could see Nicky Quaid before that ball came in. He was squinting up at the sun, had his hand over his eyes, and well done, Richie McCarthy got back. But very difficult for goalies. In the old days, you know, you used to have the peak caps, but they're gone now with the helmets, and difficult for goalies on a sunny day.
They'll have to design something, I think. Gavin O'Mahony getting it out here to Tom Condon. Limerick needing a score. Up there towards James Ryan. Ryan trying to drag it in past Lorcan McLaughlin. Has a support player available if he wants to use him. Tobin's calling for it. Oh, it's just beyond him. Didn't reach him. And Carney's back helping out. He's got a great edge in the midfield there. In as far as Joyce. And Joyce drives it a good 70 metres way down the field. Harnedy did well to keep it in play. Horgan's availing of that tap back to him there. Off balance, somehow got a shot away and puts the ball wide. The umpire took a while to make his mind up on that one, and Pat Horgan is aggrieved, I think. He felt it was over.
Yeah, and they're asking him to check with the linesman. He was sure it was over the bar. No Hawkeye, obviously, here in Limerick, but Jerry, you'd have to say Cork seem to be absolutely flying it fitness-wise. They're covering all over the Limerick forward line at the moment, and great catch again by David Breen.
Absolutely. David Breen advancing with some menace and clenching his fist. He does his job so well, the former captain. So good in the air. After him came William Egan, and Egan put in the stick there, caught him by the arm. Down went Breen, and the Napiershik man makes sure that there's a free to his team, and there's a yellow card there, which was given to the Cork man. I think it's the Lorcan McLaughlin who got the yellow card. And the free taken by Declan Hannon, and Hannon has put it over. 3 points for Declan Hannon, and the teams are level for the 3rd time, and it's a rip-roaring contest at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick. Limerick coming to terms with that back there, and Seamus Hickey once again slips back, helps out. He's got tremendous energy and enthusiasm. Going forward again, stopped, however, this time by Tom Kenny, right on the sideline, slips it back onto his left-hand side and gets it away inside, helped on by Harnedy, in there as far as Luke O'Farrell. Once again, it's Cork in charge here, and that final shot is by Seamus Harnedy. He's got one. Well, that's the way it's going to stay at the moment. Young man who'll be 23 on Wednesday, looking for an early birthday present of a first Munster winner's medal. His mother, Kathy Landers, of course, was a tremendous camogie player who I think has something like 6 All-Ireland medals to her credit.
That's right, Jerry. This tactic with Seamus Hickey, Jerry, he's winning loads of possession, but he's running into trouble. Tom Kenny's just sitting back now and letting him run at him, and it's causing, you know, there's no advantage at all to the Limerick forwards. Here's James Ryan now.
And Ryan has a look up, that drives it in. There was a little tap on that one, stopped by Joyce from going in completely. Out comes Lorcan McLaughlin. Only man to be yellow carded in the game so far. Shane O'Neill away down. Bit of a gap between the rest of the field and the Cork First touch wasn't great, and he was glad to see William Egan come in and help him out. Good teamwork there by Cork at the back. One back again here by Wayne McNamara. 6 points apiece on the Munster final. Paul Brown trying to edge Limerick in front from a huge distance out, but he's put it to the right this time. And it's to the match. Another short puck out here as far as Tom Kenny. Ready to launch the next attack. Pressure on that Limerick full back line. They've been coping well enough now in the last few minutes. Tom Condon getting it away smartly out as far as David Breen. Good, accurate hurling down there towards the dangerous Graham Mulcahy, stopped in his tracks by Conor O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan is a wonderful tidy little corner back here. Really terrific player, has been one of the best cornerbacks in the country, I think, in the last few years. All the way down to Harnedy, stopped by Richie McCarthy, was outstanding in the semi-final, and McCarthy losing his stick, and the referee seeing Limerick losing their way and giving a free into Cork from just outside the 20. And give his side the lead. It's a bit of a distance out, and that's exactly what he does. He's got 4 for the afternoon so far. 2 from frees, 2 from play. Cork easy between Limerick and Waterford, finish level, 2:19 apiece. From that puck out, it's Tom Kenny once again taking it, getting away. Had the chance to give the easy hand pass. Now he gives it to Park Cronin. And Park Cronin, huge one. That was 60, 70 metres out from the target. And it's a first of the day for Park Cronin, the 26-year-old from Bishopstown.
Yeah, lovely simple hand pass back by Tom Kenny, who's becoming more influential, and Park Cronin over the bar. And it's just interesting too, Gerard, that Cork are trying to up the pace all the time. Quick puck out, quick line balls, anything they can do to up the pace. Obviously very confident in their fitness.
Meanwhile, route 1 for Limerick, and David Breen once again. 3 men in red are after him. David Breen takes an awful lot of steps, and eventually the referee blows the whistle, indicts the Cork men and gives the free in. Breen, I think, was lucky.
Yeah, well, you know, see now he takes it back in his hand here. There's an arm in around there. Yeah, he pulled his hurl, and in fairness, good call. I think it was William Egan coming back. Just a little tug there on the hurl. You often see them getting away with it. And will Hannon go for it now?
This is the question. It's a nice central position for him. His team 2 points behind. Still very much in the first half, and he's happy to put it up and over the bar. And he's got 4 points, same as Pat Horgan. His 4 points made up of 1 from play and 3 from frees, and it's 8 points to 7. Anybody's match. Next puck out to be taken by Anthony Nash, and this time Limerick have still left the 2 corner backs free if Anthony Nash wants to give it to them, but the goalkeeper changes his plan, and a long one down towards Park Cronin. Coming in and picking it up here, Pat Horgan, looking to try and get some space for himself, aware that he was going to be hooped. Lovely defensive work here by Limerick. Onlo Grady back helping out. Hand pass away here as far as Wayne McNamara. McNamara ready to go through 3-4 Cork players. 3 converging on him right now. Another one just a metre or so away, finally losing it. And Tom Kenny flights it back in once again towards the big man Harnedy. Seamus Harnedy once again takes on Richie McCarthy. McCarthy, however, gets the stick in there, and it's a stalemate situation which ends in a foul on the Limerick player, and a free out for the Shannon Siders. 1 between them.
Yeah, that was great play there by Richie McCarthy. He was under fierce pressure on his knees, and lost possession, then managed to get it back again and won the free. And great play, inspirational play by Richie McCarthy.
Back once again, Daniel Carney, Cork's midfielder, in over the head of Condon, in as far as Harnedy, and Harnedy makes space for himself and puts it over the bar. He's got another one. 2 points from open play now by Seamus Harnedy, who's playing just his 2nd ever championship match, and he's made it 9 points to 7. In over the head of Tom Condon that time, and then Harnedy got back goal side, made an angle, took a good score.
Yeah, Jared Player came out in over this year, and he looks like he's been playing championship hurling all his life. Absolutely outstanding
He's
so far.
part of a very good UCC squad. Meanwhile, back come Limerick and Donal O'Grady. Back as far as Paul Brown. Brown has enough room now to swing this stick, and enough time to put it over the bar. Beautifully over. So 9 points to 8. 29 minutes are gone.
And Paul Brown, I think that's about the 3rd chance he's had, and wouldn't get an easier one than that over the bar. Good score.
So Nash once again now, ready with the puck out. John Allen surveying the scene here. We think that Tom Kenny may have got himself a yellow card. Immediately after that, Right now it's Cian McCarthy playing on the 40. In there as far as Christopher Joyce. Joyce had a go, was half route, managed to get it back here, and it's back as far as Park Cronin. Not the best of clearances by Limerick, and the final shot by Park Cronin is one he'll be disappointed with. Stays at 9 points to 8.
Yeah, it looked like Richie McCarthy there, I think, Ger, with a great block, very brave. And you'd have to say Cork have created maybe 3 or 4 half-goal chances in the first half and hit some bad wides, and they'll be wondering how they're not maybe further ahead. But here's Christopher Joyce breaking inside, and just watch Richie McCarthy, very brave, came out there in front of it.
Christopher Joyce, the player who only made his debut against Offaly last year, so right in the thick of the action. Right now it's Lorcan McLaughlin in as far as William Egan. Back into the centre to Park Cronin. Suddenly Limerick are very lax in their marking and allowing people like Park Cronin to get into good positions from which they're availing of the opportunity to put it over the bar. His second point in this half, and he stretches it out to a 2 points advantage for the Leesiders once again. 5 minutes to go to half time. Nicky Quaid pucks it out, down on top of that Cork half back line. It was Seamus Hickey trying to add to it there. In came Christopher Joyce once again. Couldn't quite get it under control as he was hoping to do so. He's got remarkable energy playing in midfield. He's been up and down the field, Joyce. That line ball is into Limerick's Paul Brown, and Paul Brown hits it to the left this time. And a disappointing finish for him. His team still 2 points behind.
That's a very poor wide jar, sorry, but you know, Donald O'Grady was loose outside him, nobody near him within 30 yards, and all he did was slip a little pass over to him, and I think that's about the third wide that Paul has had now.
Well, Cork seem to have abandoned the short puck outs in the last 5 minutes. They're going long. That time the target was Pat Horgan, but didn't quite get, or Pat Cronin didn't quite get to it. Back in by Brown, one into the danger man Declan Hannon, back up onto his hands and knees, stopped, and Shane O'Neill takes it away. Towards Park Cronin, 2 Cork men going towards the one ball. Eventually neither got it, and Stephen Walsh able to get in behind them and to clear. Down towards Breen once again, who's got a little bit of work to do to try and make it his. Competing there with Daniel Carney. Carney getting it onto his stick, and Carney looking at the target, flighting it in, stopped well by the goalkeeper Nicky Quaid. Really caught it well, that's a fine save. Got it out as far as Gavin O'Mahony. Sun in the eyes, good clearance, and Limerick are back into the attack again. And it is James Ryan hitting it from 65 metres out, but he puts it to the left, and it's a missed opportunity, and it's Limerick's 5th wide.
Yeah, you have to say, Ger, some of the wides taking the buzz out of the game a little bit. You know, they're great play there up the field, and James Ryan, great catch by Nicky Quaid, which started very brave, and really, you know, bad wides with under no pressure at all from 50-60 yards. That should be able to put them over the bar.
Well, Nicky Quaid's dad Tommy played in 5 Munster finals, 1-3. Late Tommy, so sadly missed. Limerick on the attack, and Limerick's Shawnee Tobin has his first scoring opportunity to put it over the bar, and everybody in the inside forward line now for Limerick has scored from open play, and now they're within a point again. It's 10 points to 9 as a result of this latest point by the Maru Bohur players, only 23 years of age.
And I think Limerick will be looking for more of that type of play. Great snappy ball right in front of Shawnee Tobin, and he can do that all day if he gets the right ball.
Well, balanced delicately at this stage, both sides having their periods of supremacy. Richie McCarthy there, having difficulty with Seamus Harnedy, but he's done well to come back. Maybe not a challenge he was anticipating having today. Seamus Hickey, as ever, foraging deeply, all the way up as far as Declan Hannon. Across goes Shane O'Neill to him. Hannon goes in on the end line. O'Neill tries to force the ball away. Does well enough to try and stymie the attacker. Hannon's still there. Difficult situation for Cork to contend with. Possibilities for Limerick. Finally, in the end, it's Lorcan McLaughlin who gets it out. As far as Chris Joyce, and a Piercing player, steps away from the trouble presented there by James Ryan. The hand pass by Cronin across the space to Daniel Carney, and the 23-year-old SARS man, deep inside his own half, lets it off long, down towards Luke O'Farrell. 2 Limerick players are there against him, however, and one of them is the indefatigable Richie McCarthy. Nothing to stop him getting that ball out as far as the hard-working Wayne McNamara. Held on to brilliantly by Seamus Hickey in spite of the attention of Tom Kenny. On as far as Donald O'Grady. Can they finish with a score here? Back goes Cronin with the challenge, and the referee penalises Cronin. Great spell of play. Cork still in front by a point, but maybe not for much longer.
Yeah, Ger, what a passage of play. Donald O'Grady fouled there, but you'd have to say some of the battles here, the duels, Seamus, or Richie McCarthy and Seamus Harnedy. Harnedy has got 2 points, but Richie McCarthy is having an unbelievable game, and Shane O'Neill, there you saw him there covering Declan Hannon coming in. They're having a great battle. Conor O'Sullivan and Graham Mulcahy, another great battle, and it's a fantastic game. It's finely balanced at the moment.
It may well finish this first half as it started level. Declan Hannon has got 4 so far. Now he's got 5, and the teams are locked together at 10 points apiece. Terrific Munster final, level for the 4th time, and the game is now about to go into 1 minute of injury time. It's got to be Cork's puck out, and once again Anthony Nash looking around, going short, back to the old plan A or plan B, take your pick. Conor O'Sullivan down towards Cian McCarthy, being well marked however by Gavin O'Mahony. In as far as James Ryan, gets loose from Lorcan McLaughlin and has that chance to get it in there as far as Harnedy. Balances it on his stick, then shows some lovely craft and trick work, but in comes O'Neill, who's seen it all before, to try and block his route to goal, and in the end the referee decides that Shane O'Neill was fouled, and it's going to be a free out for Cork, and we're already 15 seconds into stoppage time.
Great first touch there by Declan Hannon. That's the second or third time he makes it look so easy, but Shane O'Neill, brilliant cornerback. He's a great defender, and he stuck with him, and great example I think there to young players. No panic, and just kept goal side and blocked him off.
And the referee saw the hand there of Hannon catching O'Neill. Good refereeing by James McGrath, and the referee again blows his whistle, this time with Paudie O'Sullivan down on the ground inside that circle, and he's calling across. It's a red card to Pat Horgan. Pat Horgan has been sent off. Let's just see what happened again here now. There is the foul.
And the ball hit him in the head. Pat Horgan slapped in the back of the head, but the ball actually hit him in the forehead. That's why he went down.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I just got such a shock because I knew straight away that the ball had hit him in the forehead. That's why he went down. I didn't see the flick coming in from behind until just now. So,
well, for that tap in the back of the head there of the wing-back Paudie O'Brien, the referee has given the red card to Pat Horgan. It certainly upsets the balance of this match, which was balanced very delicately. A lot for Jimmy Barry Murphy now and his selectors to contemplate. They're going to play the second half with 14 men. It'll be advantage Limerick, surely, you would imagine. But right now, as the teams go off to their respective dressing rooms, with a very bemused Pat Horgan explaining it there to Dr. Conn.
At 10 points apiece. Surifar, Liam Sheedy, Ger Lachlan here with me in studio. Ger, we had 2 games last night. Both went to extra time. Now, there can't be extra time, I know, in this game today, but at the same time, there's nothing to choose between them.
No, not right now, and we'd have drawn the minor match as well.
Of course, yes.
Just before this, but really, on the scoreboard, there's nothing to choose between the two of them, but really, Cork should be 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 points ahead by now, because Limerick started off as we expected with terrific fire and passion in their play, led by 4 points to 1 after 7 minutes. Their work rate was absolutely fantastic. Then the Cork half-back line and midfielder just completely took over. Now, Hannon was far out, and all they had inside in were 2 small forwards. You know, Mulcahy and O'Brien. They just weren't strong enough for any ball went in. And Cork laid siege to the goal here just beside us. Had 2 great goal chances, missed those. The movement of the Cork forwards was absolutely fantastic. And really the man who held Limerick together in that first half was Richie McCarthy at full-back. Even though he was on Harnedy who scored 2 points. But he was everywhere. Sometimes he was like the little Dutchman with his finger on the dike most of the time. Now, Limerick's tactics were just terrible. You know, have they not learned from Kilkenny that you don't leave your 2 cornerbacks, you don't leave the Cork 2 cornerbacks free for the puck out so that the goalie can give it them, and then he pokes it in over the half-forward line. And next thing, you're in danger territory. You know, so very naive at the start, but Limerick are just hanging in there. You know, getting frees, half-forward line not scoring. Seamus Hickey moving back into his own half, driving forward with the ball, but still at the same time, Cork should have at least 4 or 5 more points got in that first half.
They should, but Liam Sheedy, Limerick got a boost just before half-time there with the sending off, of course, of Pat Horgan.
Yeah, it's going to be
What did you make of this?
Well, it's going to be one of the big moments of the match, you know, in that first half, because, you know, the game is finally poised at 10 points off. I mean, for anyone looking at home, they may not realise how strong the sun is actually facing into that goal. On numerous occasions, it nearly caught out Nicky Quaid I mean, it's the flat of the hurley. I definitely don't think there was any malicious. It's a tap. It absolutely warranted a yellow card. You know, it wasn't on the ball, but I didn't feel at any stage. I don't think it was a bad pull or a malicious pull. I don't think there was any intent there to hit Paddy O'Brien in the back of the head. I think that's a very, very harsh call. I watched the Cork management went to the referee at half-time. I think they definitely felt it was harsh, and it could have a big bearing on the game.
This is the old issue, Cyril, between, I mean, the referee is not there to decide whether your man intended to do it or not. The referee is there to decide whether he actually hit him or not.
Well, he did hit him, but it was only a slap at the side of the horn. But Michael, the funny thing is, like, going in there now, as Ger said, Cork should be well up. They're getting goal chances, their forwards are creating lovely space. Limerick now will figure to have the 15 men and a little bit of breeze behind them, but sometimes 14 men can play as well, and it might actually suit. Okay, Cork won't have the space, like they won't have the minnow take the sharp hook out, but you could actually find that their forwards will get more space up the other end, because like they are very good touch hurler. They've missed 2 goal chances, and like they should be in front now. Limerick are they're hanging in, they're heroic on the ball, but they're doing daft things with it in, like, but you know, it's still anyone's game. But Limerick wouldn't want to think they have a little bit of a breeze and have the extra man, but it's still going to take some win in this game, because Cork have very good hurlers up front.
You're all agreed that Limerick are kind of hanging into this game from the evidence of the first half, but they did make a very good start of the game, Ger.
That's what the thing. You see, they started so well, and as Limerick usually do, you know, they start with this
record. I think unlucky to be sent off, but the rules are rules, and off he went. Park Roden back as far as William Egan. That's all the way down towards the new man who's in there. Might well have come in place of Luke O'Farrell. Not 100% sure about that. We'll just see in a moment. Waiting confirmation. It's Cian McCarthy, in fact, who has gone off the Cork team, and he's been replaced by Jamie Collin, who's number 24. And there's, in the thick of the action, Seamus Hannity leaving it here as far as Park Ronan. And the player, you can't tell at this stage who the extra player is and how he's been used, because there are a lot of extra players, and that final shot is by Conor Lehan. He's had a very disappointing match so far. This is a young man who's only 20 years of age, had a great start to the league campaign last year. So much was expected of him at that stage, but I think defenders have got to know his style, tightened up on him, and he's got a lot to learn and to get through. He's a good player. Back come Limerick and Graham Mulcahy, and that one flies over the bar. Limerick's first attack of the second half, and straight away it's Limerick who go back into the lead. The 15 men leading by 11 points to 10.
Yeah, well broken down there, and again maybe half a chance on if he kept going with that to bury it in the net, but tapped it over the bar, and it looks like Stephen Walsh, the right corner back, is the loose man. He's just sweeping in front of the full back line. Great catch by Donald O'Grady.
And O'Grady playing it in here, and it's cut again by Mulcahy. 2 points so far. Looking for another one. He's put it wide this time. Well, they will get the chances. They'll have that breeze behind them, and they have the extra man. And of course, Cork having to play with 14 in blazing heat here in Limerick. It's going to be tough.
It is indeed, Ger, and I think interesting now Limerick have gone back to an orthodox full forward line, and the plan is obviously get the ball in there as quick as they can.
Well, they are unchanged, but right now it is Cork who are trying to launch another attack, but it's broken up in the middle of the park. Donald O'Grady leaving it there to Daniel Carney, however. Carney putting Cork back in, down towards Collin, and this is Jamie Collin out over the sideline, and that's going to be a line ball to Cork. Jamie Collin, who did well when he came on as a sub here against Clare in the last match. Had hip surgery during the winter time, missed the entire Alliance League. Very talented young attacker. Not a good ball, however, from him, straight to Stephen Walsh, and the man who is virtually free to mark nobody in particular, sweep at the back, gets in as far as Shawnee Tobin, and Tobin challenged there by Lachlan McLaughlin, and McLaughlin, who's got a yellow card for the first half, has to be careful. Nothing terribly sinister in this, but it just gets tangled in the arm there of Shawnee Tobin, and it's a free which will be taken by Declan Hannon, and he'll be hoping to have lots of opportunities now. Cork don't have their free taker, the usual free taker anymore, remember. That was Patrick Horgan. He's got off. Hannon's got 4 from 5 so far from those frees. This from 40 metres out, central position, and straight as you could wish. Start of the second half then, he's got a 6-point, and Limerick lead by 2.
Yeah, and actually, Jaron, looking there, Richie McCarthy's actually gone loose now, the full-back, and one thing you have to be careful of, you know, with that extra man at the back is that, you know, lads are committed to marking their men, and that the loose man, you know, sometimes he gets caught between the two of them, who's going for the ball. Limerick have really started very, very well in the second half.
Wonderful catch by Wayne McNamara. Back into the attack they go again. Stopped by Shane O'Neill, however, right on the sideline here. Gets that ball away from his man, beats the attempted block there, sends it back down, but stopped by Paddy O'Brien. Man who got the first point of this match, stepped down over the sideline, and the linesman and the Shawnee Tobin, Graham Mulcahy was trying to arrive, and Stephen MacDonald is the one who emerges with it. Uses the ball intelligently, plays it as far as Christopher Joyce. Joyce back up onto his feet again. The referee didn't give a free, gave an advantage if there was one to accrue, and there wasn't. Cork have it again, the crowd from Cork booing because there was no free given. And Limerick are able to attack once more, all the way down towards Graham Mulcahy, coming across here to collect it. Again, the very tidy Shane O'Neill, accurately in as far as Daniel Carney. Makes some room for himself, gets away from David Breen's would-be hoop. Nicely across here towards Luke O'Farrell, a point scorer in the first half. This time Tom Condon comes in, and this time the referee is pointing for the free. But he's also had words out of camera there with a couple of players. Notebook is out, just to record that.
Yeah, and Jerry, you commented there on, you know, given the advantage, and it's a fine line at times. You know, I think when you're down to 14 men in a game like this in that heat, I think Cork prefer to get their free and trust Pat Horgan from 80 or 90 yards rather than, you know, a 50-50 ball. Oh, if he was here, sorry.
He's not here.
He's gone. Full Pat there. Who's taking over the frees now?
Yeah. Well, right now, Jamie Colin standing over it. And from Newtown Shandrum, striking it off the left and doing a Patrick Horgan in it and getting the first point of the second half for Cork and first point of the match for him. So it's back to a point once again, 12-11. Galway some years ago in Thurles in a qualifier. Mulcahy almost being too clever that time. Back as far as James Ryan, and James Ryan drives it brilliantly over the bar. A point in each half now for the Gary Spillane player, taking the pass back there and making absolutely certain and putting two between them again.
Yeah, very good score, Jaron. James Ryan's been very good since the start of the game. He's working very hard, and 2 great points now from play as well.
Cork having to use their bench because they're down to 14 and it's energy sapping. Down, that was Mulcahy with the block on as far as Lorcan McLaughlin, now Naughton. He's been very sparingly used by Cork management teams in recent years, has a lot to show. That one is a little under hit because there was a partial block on it, but this is a man with enormous reserves of pace, and if he gets going and if he's in that mood, he can be quite irresistible.
Well, he can, Jaron. That's the great thing he has, is that pace and the great finisher off his left side normally, but that's terrible. Here's Conor O'Sullivan with a great block down. Graham Mulcahy stood up to hit the ball, and he won't get away with that at this level.
Once again, the challenge there is strong, and this time it's Lorcan McLaughlin picked at midfield, playing in the half-back line, in as far as Park Cronin. Cronin has gone deep for the second half. Cork have had to use just a 2-man inside forward line, and it'll be an inside forward line of Jamie Colin and also Luke O'Farrell. And that was Colin there, and once again called into action to take a free from virtually the same position that he put over the bar just a few minutes earlier. Well, then he made it 12-11. Now can he put one between them again?
A super free the first time, Jared, from a very difficult angle, and this is another very difficult one.
Pressure is on him. Can he repeat it? He can. That's a great free. Brilliantly put over by Jamie Colin, who will have been a bit disappointed, I think, not to have started this match. Had a good game, I thought, when he came on against Clare. So now it's 13 points to 12. It's advantage in Limerick, but this is the Munster final 2013. Limerick on home territory, roared on by a big crowd here. Huge following from Cork as well, making the journey. Paul Brown leaving it, helped out here by Shawnee Tobin, and Tobin 20 metres out, hits it over. 2 points for Tobin. Really good play by the Murray Boher player. 14 points to 12. Good response by Limerick.
Yeah, great turn of pace there by Shawnee Tobin, shortened the grip and over the bar, and himself and Graham Mulcahy now getting more and more onto the ball and looking very dangerous inside the Limerick full forward.
Cork goes short out of defence. William Egan now back in there towards Cronin. Can't take it. Not initially anyway. Luke O'Farrell. Back in there was Seamus Hickey as well. It bounces around it. Oh, the referee got in the way. Got in the way of Wayne McNamara. And in the end, the player down on the deck there is Seamus Hickey. But it's helter-skelter stuff here. That was Cathal Naughton, and that was the final wraparound challenge there, which fell the Limerick man. Down went Hickey.
Yeah, I think the hurl swung around there and caught him maybe on the side of the head as well. And it was not malicious again, but he did get a good shot there. And
well, the medical team are in attending to Hickey. Pat Horgan just before half-time. Back comes Stephen Walsh, driving it down the field there, down towards Shawnee Tobin. Real race for possession with Stephen McDonnell. And the linesman, Brian Gavin from Offaly, pointing in the direction of the Cork goal, so it'll be a Limerick sideline ball. In no particular hurry to take it. It'll be Seamus Hickey who'll go across and hit this next one. Ahead by 2, trying to maximise every opportunity they've got. If they change their minds, they're leaving it for Gavin O'Mahony to take. Gavin has done a lot of very good hurling at coaching of hurling in Mary Eye here in Limerick, along with Eamon Cregan. Eamon was part of the backroom team for the Limerick Minors today, who played a wonderful game against Waterford, a match which was drawn. 2 between them here, Limerick in front in the Munster final. Gavin O'Mahony, again they're taking their time about it. Bit early for doing that. All the way in, broken down. They try to get it away. Shane O'Neill's after it. Gets it away, uses possession well as far as Park Cronin. They're not just belting it anywhere, they're trying to place a colleague down towards down towards Colin there, Jamie Colin, but he had 2 men on him. The extra man at the back for Limerick, always going to be important. In as far as Paul Brown. Brown back up there once again, up towards Hannon. Hannon almost getting loose for a moment, and then a couple of Cork defenders converge on him, and one of them is Stephen McDonnell, who got that ball away. Out towards Lochlan McLaughlin, keeps it in play, hits it along 50 metres down towards Seamus Harnedy, with a very good first stop, being marked by Stephen Walsh in this second, and Walsh fouled him that time. It's a free to Cork. Harnedy's pumped up, trying to gee up the Cork following here as well in Limerick. Part of the big occasion of Munster final day.
yeah, and Jared, that's 2 or 3 frees, nearly in the same position that the Limerick defence have given away. And when they have the extra man back there, really, there's no need. Even if he won possession there, he's gone away from the goals. Tom Condon gave away a couple, Stephen Walsh there. And you have to say they're keeping Cork in the game, because Cork would just pulled them down there needlessly. And you see the crowd refereeing it there as well. But, you know, really, you'd expect Limerick. Shane Dowling, you mentioned there, coming on there now. You said Jamie Coughlin was disappointed, but Shane Dowling must have been the most disappointed man in Ireland when he wasn't played, and he has a point to prove. But it's a very, very warm day out there, and he's not the most mobile, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Jamie Collin once again, 2 so far from 2 frees. The angle's a little bit better on this one. Can he make it 3 in a row? This one he has put wide. It was easier, it seemed, than the other 2. Shake of the head there. Only 21 years of age. It'll be a puck out for Limerick, who lead by 14 points to 12. 14 minutes gone in the second half. Lots of time remaining. Sun into the eyes of the Cork defenders right now as Carney went up for it. Runs on towards Egan instead, and William Egan from Kilbryn. Down into space, but there are lots of Limerick players there waiting for it. The one who took it was Wayne McNamara. Not a great clearance, but one back nonetheless by the new man in, Shane Dowling. In tight towards Hannon, 2 Artskull Reeshmen, ex-colleagues in that college, and that's beautifully over the bar by Declan Hannon, who's now got 7 points in this Munster final, and Limerick lead by 3, and there are 50 minutes gone.
Yeah, that's a super point. Good ball in by Shane Dowling. Great catch by Declan Hannon. What a battle he's having with Shane O'Neill. You know, he's had a couple of other half chances of getting through on goal, but Shane O'Neill has done very well on him, and both of them playing very well. But Hannon, you know, is going to become more influential. He's a very, very good player.
Cork trying to respond. They've got just 2 points in the second half so far in the quarter of an hour played. It's advantage Limerick, and it's James Ryan playing it back here to Wayne McNamara, and the 15 men trying to impose themselves a little bit more on Cork, but back goes Conor O'Sullivan, not for the first time in Championship Hurling, linking up with his goalkeeper. Clever use of possession, but then the final ball out of defence goes straight to Paul Brown of Limerick, pursued there by Christopher Joyce. Brown slipping it inside, poor ball. His wing mirror, I think, was showing a Limerick player, but instead it was a Cork man who got it. But it runs kindly this time to James Ryan. Back in here as far as Dowling. Deliver the last pass to Hannon. Goes for this one himself and puts it over the bar. An immediate impact is made by Shane Dowling. And Dowling, who is just 20 years of age, gets his first and makes it 16 points to 12. And And is this game now very firmly turning around in Limerick's direction? From that puck out, it's won once again here by Paulie O'Brien out over the sideline. Those couple of scores now are really robbing the morale of Cork, and you can almost see Cork's morale crumbling very noticeably.
I agree with you, missing that free, it would have brought it back to 14-13, and then Limerick go down the field and score 2 great points. And James Ryan again so involved at centre forward, lovely little hand pass to Shane Dowling and over the bar. And here we have Conor Ellis coming in as well. That's a bit of a surprise. Yeah, Graham Mulcahy gone off there, a little bit surprised with that maybe. I thought Mulcahy's still dangerous, and